G'day guys, just a quick one on this start of this Warwick Farm meeting. Obviously, a bit of a weird one with the heavy 9 considering 5 mils of rain, but you would imagine a lot of scratchings. It is notable that a lot of the locals have stayed in, whether that's just because don't have to travel or whatever, or they know that the track's maybe not as heavy as what they're putting out, but treating it somewhere between a 7 and a 9 should play pretty similar. They should get off the fence in the straight. You probably want to be there turning for home, so you want to be there at the 400 metre mark within a length or two of the lead at most, which is pretty standard anyway, and difficult to come from a long way back and sustain a run. The heavier the track is, the more difficult it is. So closer to a 7, you'll be able to run on a little bit, but if it's a 9 or worse somehow, it's certainly an advantage to be up on speed. I'll go through them quickly. So race 1, these races are horrendous. Nothing set up to win here. This Tavi Amor is favourite, $2.40. I've marked it $3.25, but a race where very, very low confidence. Its first start in a race was good. Its last 2 runs last time, so it started $1.75 out from $1.50 and was pretty plain against a slow tempo, but still didn't do a lot. And then came out and ran pretty only average sort of at Rose Hill as well when in the market, but out as well. 2 trials back, both soft. 2,000 metre trial, should be fit enough, but 1,400 still testing first up. Slow tempo probably suits it. It's got a bit of a turn of foot, but again, it's just very short. Trying to find something to beat it, very difficult. Mystic Mermaid was one of these horses that ran on the heavy 10 at Newcastle. These sort of horses are going to pop up over the next few weeks, which is a nightmare. Some will improve significantly, some won't, but I think $2.25 into odds on there. They expected it to run well, plotted a little bit, but not surprising given the conditions, and can improve. Desi Girl was had 6 trials, was it 5? 6 trials before it had a start in a race. 1,300 metres there, pretty one pace, blinkers go on. It was a slow tempo, so it can improve, but does need to a little bit. Nautical Miss is a horse that's been honest, but without really threatening to win a race. It did get within 3/4 of length at Hawkesbury, running on late through the middle. That form's okay for this, and sort of getting deep into its first prep. Couple of scratching since, or one of them was abandoned meeting, but it does look like it'll get a nice run and can run well. Diedrichson went, I think, too slow in front there the other day at Goulburn, and it was just a little bit one-paced home. Can improve, does need to. Don't know what they'll do, whether they'll try and lead or not. This Chilco Lake was another that ran on that Canterbury heavy track first up, was 20s into 10s there. Whether it was just disappointing, it was a slow run race and sort of whacked it. It is a very one-paced horse, and its last 800 wasn't too bad. The run was probably a little bit better than it looked, even though it got beaten 7 lengths. Wouldn't surprise to win here, but is a stable that struggles to win these days. So a bit of a nightmare. Don't want to take short odds about Chilco Lake. Don't want to take short odds about anything in this race. That's race 1. Spent way too much time on it. Race 2's a nightmare. This horse Tarazi obviously ran 6th in a Group 3, which would just win this. Came back and had another trial 3 months later, tipped out. So it's had 373 days off. And I will show the trials here because
What's in now?
I don't think it's it's not a quiet trial. I've had a good look at them, and it's not as if they've shut this horse down. Look at it stopping. This is Tarazi back here. So a slowly run trial. It's kicked up on the inside, showing good speed, but this horse is dropping out in the pink and black. And then we go, what's is it? 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later. Again, shows some decent speed there. White cap with the black pom-pom through the middle. Put under a bit of pressure late here, so not as much as last time, but still is ridden along here and given its head and losing ground. So very difficult to chime into that horse. 1,200 metres first up, and you see it's $3.50, $3.60. 4-0. Ridden up on speed, pretty one-paced in its first preparation. Ridden back, went better. Ridden back in a trial, went better. Now finds a race with absolutely no speed. An outside draw on James McDonald. Do they go forward? Do they go back? I don't know. I've marked it, favourite, but with little confidence. Promised the Moons going to get a decent run from the inside draw, trying to pinch runs. Improved. He was given no chance first up. way too far back. Then last start went okay at Hawkesbury without getting anywhere near the leader. So another horse that's never been in a winning position in a race before, and it's $6.50 here. California Silence are very similar. It's done very little, as in this preparation, really never threatened to win first or second up, and goes around $4 here. I think it's a complete lottery. I thought the horse that had a bit of form was this horse Shea, and it's only because it sat outside the leader at Kembla one day, and here it sort of drops off, and then when this horse comes up near it late, it sort of comes again through the line and just misses. But you can see it's not really eating the line up at any stage. The last section isn't great here, but that form is probably good enough to just about win this race. So I thought Shea at $15 was interesting first up for a stable that can get them ready fresh, but yuck. Race 3, this is the race I'm most interested in. This is the horse I'm most interested in. I'll talk about it. Tomislava. A couple of reservations which stopped me from being really confident here, because it does look a very winnable race for a horse that looks to have good talent. So it's in the black here, sort of gets checked and misses a little bit and checked and held up, but watch the way this horse travels without any pressure. So he's not asking this horse to make ground at any stage really here. Gives it a little bit of a dig once it gets to the outside. The outside section can be a better part of the track here at Randwick, but you sort of see he goes to give this horse a dig, and now he starts to shut it down, and the horse is still making ground, I believe, without any pressure whatsoever, and did run home okay there the last 400, 200, for the day with no real pressure. Did want this horse to start. That was the favourite that's been scratched out of the race. Another short trial. So there's 2 reservations here, 2 short trials, and going to a heavy track first start, and also how it jumps out of the gates. Again, so we've got outside here, the white with the red pom-pom and the yellow colours. So again, misses the kick a little bit, but you see it does have a bit of natural toe here. So I think if it sort of jumps a little more cleanly on race day, a little, the manners improve a bit. It can hold a spot. I don't think this horse is devoid of speed, and I just love the way it travels. So again, decent times for the last 400, 200 here with no pressure, and I do think that the horse was certainly had more up its sleeve. I just love the way it's sort of towing up here without any pressure whatsoever. The ones in front are all sort of being shown a bit more, being given a bit more rein, and this horse is not. It's just tight held, and I think it could have gapped them if they wanted to, just going around for a look. So this is the horse that I'm quite keen on. I think Celtic Heart's got the gate against it. It sort of wants more ground. I thought its trial was a little bit one-paced. It's slow time. Not much to like about it at the odds, I didn't think. If it's ridden really aggressively and it's ready to go, okay, it could probably run well here, but I think the price is extremely short. This horse, Deep Finesse, is interesting. It ran off the track at Canberra after leading pretty comfortably over 1,000 metres. Obviously a rider change, has been back to the trials. It's interesting. First Love was given a good sound out down at Goulburn, first up off a long break here. I think it's pretty one-pace type too. Can run okay. This horse is probably the horse to beat. Marinia. They did get a fast tempo here, and it sat just in behind them. Got an absolutely perfect run. Got through the middle, and the gap behind, between second and third's pretty solid here, and it's only extending. The only other horse finishing off is in number 5, as you can see. But that is 900 metres, going up to 11. Has had a few tries and a little bit weak. Last preparation, can be stronger this time in, and ran a pretty good time or whatever there the other day. So have to take some notice of it. Marinia for sure. The draw looks perfect for it to camp just behind them. It can run well, and Ultra's a very similar horse, comes off a 900 metre run, closed there, just missed. Time okay. It's had a few starts now, 9-start maiden, gets a nice run as well. Dangerous, but a strong 1100. I think it's a really nice race for a horse to be able to run well here on debut that's got a bit of ability, and I think Tomislava certainly fits that. I will send it out as a bet because we're getting $6, and I think that's fair enough in this race. We're tossing up how aggressive to make it. I'm probably going to, cut it back just because of the circumstances on the day, as in heavy track, and the horse has got a few quirks that it needs to iron out that we're sort of hoping more than knowing that it's going to do everything really professionally. So I'll probably cut it back and but make it a small bet. Race 4, but I do like the horse a lot. This race I think is quite interesting. I think there's a battle for the lead here. I think Cuban Royale was very good off a similar setup last time in. Ran well first up, trials 1, second up. Same sort of distance, sort of 1200, 1300 this time. I know it can race a bit closer than it has been, so maybe the small field they might mix it up a bit. Cafe Royale was ridden back last time and a big win off a fast tempo, but ran a big time, and there was a nice gap behind them there. If it goes to the front, it certainly has to be the horse to beat. This is the horse that I'm very interested in, is King of the Castle. Interesting form. I went back through its replays in New Zealand. Certainly, goes well enough to measure up here. 3 trials from this camp's a very good indication that they didn't want to send it to the races until it was ready to go. And a small field first up over this sort of trip can suit this horse. I think it can run well. I'm not worried about its wet track form. The races where it sort of struggled a little bit, it was insanely heavy. Like we're talking, 12s, 15s, 11s. That it was insanely heavy, and it was early in its preparation, first, second, third up. So a bit of a miracle that it raced on and ran well. And I see that its form's better over on good ground, but I think this horse will handle this sort of track first up, and they wouldn't be sending it around if it wouldn't. 2 up's a bit limited for mine. I thought the bottom one can improve, but certainly does need to, and quite significantly. So that's race 4. I think, a good little race. Here we go. Race 5, you've got Camino Real coming up short here. Maps to be last or close enough to it for mine, and I think that's the biggest problem. Drops in behind them and could get a fast tempo, but it's not guaranteed. You've got a horse like IPO, who led over 1,000 metres last start, drawn wide, could certainly take him on. Musumi's first up, not sure whether they will push forward or not. Iron Brazen stupidly seemed to be last start kicked up, and Eberly did lead all the way last start in solid time. You've got others that want to hold positions. Vivid Flash would love to be, 1 out, 1 back, something like that. Do they push their hand early and try and force past Musume first up, or which is what I'd be doing. I'd be pushing forward. If IPO pushed forward, I'd be pushing forward with Vivid Flash and trying to find an on-pace position. Thought it ran quite well the other day. The horse just, that American President, just found the fast lane down the outside. Vivid Flash did all the work there in the run. Ran really well. So quite a competitive race. I can make a case for Paper Daisy first up, Parachuter, Eberly I can make a case for in a small way. I'm Brazen if it's over that last run. Said Vivid Flash is racing well, and so is IPO, even though it's deep into its first prep. So it's not a gimme race for Camino Royal, but there are queries against all these runners, so it's a very dangerous race. I definitely couldn't take short odds Camino Royal. Real, can it win? Absolutely. Could I possibly take 260? Not in a pink fit. Very dodgy race. Rather play a bit of value on speed in IPO, Vivid Flash, possibly, if I had to play in the race, but I think it's a competitive race. So that's the first 5. As I said, making Thomas Lava a small play in race 3. A conservative play anyway. I think it's a very nice horse, and if it was a dry track, and if it was if it was a 4 or 5, I'd be having a decent crack at this horse. So good luck, guys, and I'll come back with the rest.